National Commissioner hasn't yet reported back to me on the exact composition of the Special Investigation Task Team, but it will include investigators and prosecutors. And their mandate will be to investigate all the individuals. There are 14 of them, 5 police officers, senior police officers, and then the rest are either officials or EMPD officers in Ekurhuleni. They will all be investigated on the basis of the findings of the Madlanga Commission for criminal conduct.
Yeah.
In addition, the Commission and I have agreed that they will all, well, at least the police officers, but I've also had a discussion with the mayor, they will be placed on precautionary suspension, and that the commissioner will establish panels. I'm hoping that it will include outside experts in the interests of rigor and transparency, to consider the disciplinary charges against the same individuals. So there are 2 tracks, the disciplinary track as well as the criminal investigation.
Just to confirm there, Minister Cachalia, are you saying that the people who were listed there who are going to be investigated are going to be placed on precautionary suspension pending the outcome of the investigation by this special task team?
Yes, that was, I based that on the discussion I had with the National Commissioner. He hasn't yet reported back to me on the implementation of that discussion, of the outcomes of that discussion, but that's what I asked him to look at.
Okay. Minister, did you have to wait? In fact, I'm asking this question broadly to the leadership of the SAPS. Did you have to wait for the Madlanga Commission to indicate who must be investigated in this interim report and the President to instruct that there be a special task team to investigate these people? Isn't this a decision that the National Police Commissioner could have taken? I mean, the kind of evidence that has come out of Madlanga Commission is quite overwhelming. I mean, at the face of it, the National Police Commissioner should have been proactive and take action against some of these officers, even if it was in a precautionary basis.
In fact, he indicated to me that he had initiated some investigations without giving me the details yet. But I will say this. So there is a question about whether we wait for the outcomes of the commission and its final findings, to what extent we should be acting more proactively. There is a question about that. It's remember that in the first phase of this inquiry, all we've heard is evidence without cross-examination effectively and without hearing all the witnesses. So these, in a sense, are preliminary findings. But the Commission has made it clear that with respect to these identified individuals, there is prima facie evidence. Now, on the basis of that evidence, we are now able to initiate disciplinary processes, as well as to set up, of course, this takes resources, to set up a special investigation team with a mandate to investigate criminal conduct on the basis of these prima facie findings.
Okay.
That means that there at this point isn't conclusive evidence, but there is enough evidence for further investigations.
All right. So, Minister, there's so much wrought, I mean, from what we've heard so far through the ad hoc committee the Madlanga Commission, quite a lot of rot in the SAPS, I mean, as much has been revealed, there are clearly other officers we may not know about who are equally compromised. So how do we even know that the officers chosen to be part of this task team are the good ones? I mean, the head of crime intelligence claimed in Parliament that almost all SAPS members in the province are compromised. He made this conclusion after an analysis he said was made, and he found that some of them actually work with criminal cartels. Are you aware of the analysis as the leadership of the police? And also, how do you know which ones are good, which ones are bad?
So I did hear General Khumalo make that observation in his testimony before the commission. I was a bit concerned about that statement because he was either not able to provide the evidence for quite a far-reaching statement, or felt that it was not the appropriate forum for him to do so. But the statement, nevertheless, is very concerning. Now, look, it's very clear from the evidence that has been led thus far that there are serious problems of misconduct and even criminal capture of parts of the criminal justice system. The question is what we're going to do about it. There are actions that have to be taken against individuals where there is a sufficient evidentiary basis, and there will also be, coming out of the commission, and I hope from the ad hoc committee as well, some recommendations of systemic reform. I am not simply waiting for the outcome of these inquiries, because it's very clear to me, for instance, that procurement needs reform. Disciplinary processes within the South African Police Service also need more rigor and strengthening. It must be evident to the society as a whole that criminal intelligence needs strengthening, both from a probity point of view as well as from a let's say, an effectiveness point of view. And this is particularly important if we're going to be able to tackle organized crime effectively. So I think that we are in what I would call a Madlanga moment. We are in a moment where evidence is being led, which tells us as a society and the decision makers in our society how deep the problems are, how extensive they are, so that we can make decisions that help reset policing in this country. I must say that it's important to have a focus and balance as we as a country undertake this exercise. Is the glass half full or half empty? From my point of view, my job, acting under the instructions of the president, is to be focused, is to be clear about what needs to be done, is to take society on board, to take our people on board, to be transparent about my reasoning and the decisions that I believe I have to take.
Yeah. Minister, I know that the interim report didn't say anything about the National Police Commissioner and whether or not he needs to be investigated. But I've got to raise this with you because, I mean, it is of great concern, and I wonder if it concerns you, the fact that he is the one that is going to lead the special task team, given that it was at the Madlanga Commission where he actually conceded that he implemented an unlawful instruction from the Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. He understands that the minister is not allowed to interfere in operational matters like that. He understands that he is not obligated to take any instruction from ministers that may also be unlawful. Are you worried at all about that concession at the Madlanga Commission, and how do we move from that?
So at this point, there is no evidence against the National Commissioner of misconduct or worse. There's no evidence. So from my point of view, I have to work with the incumbent National Commissioner on this reset agenda.
Okay.
Now, yes, I mean, and I would say that, you might, I don't know if you have time and you really want to explore this question because of the way you frame it about whether the decision that the previous minister made was unlawful or not on the basis that it was an interference with an operational matter. I have some questions about that. I think we should much more focus on the substance of the decision as well as the process by which the decision was made, whether there was consultation or not, and so forth. We can explore that question if you want. Yeah. So the commissioner did accept in the commission, he did accept that framing, which then leads to the question that you're asking whether he went along with a decision that he considered unlawful. Then of course that does raise the question, but for me, in a way, I'm not sure that is the central question or whether it arises at all.